Good morning, Sharks. This is SD&T 1 Group 3, and we are here with the coolest product. But first, my name is Luwam. I'm the product manager, and then we have Elliot as our designer. We have Nasir for the head of marketing, and then Elliot, Dwayne for the safety and quality assurance. Okay, before we go into our presentation, who in here always is there a bike or a motorcycle?
Bike.
Wow, only 3 people? Okay, or 4 people. Okay, so how many of you use helmets? You do? Okay, so let me tell you this. We have the best product ever. So, have you ever wished your helmet had you could get a phone call with your helmet, or just record a video, like if you get in a car accident, just record what's happening around you for like 2 minutes, or even listen to music on your helmet. Well, it's not gonna be a wish anymore, because me and my team, we're here to become that wish, to make that wish become a reality. And then now I'm gonna pass it to Nasir.
Good evening, Sharks. The future is no longer the future. The future is now the present with the Thunderdome AR. For the 3 people that do ride motorcycles or bikes and wear helmets, thank you very much. The rest of you guys, after the end of this presentation, you will go and get yourself a bike or a motorcycle and buy this helmet. The Thunderdome AR, before we go into depth, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what the Thunderdome AR is. The Thunderdome AR is a helmet specifically designed right now for motorcycles. This helmet doesn't include just any features. This helmet includes features of the future. Features no motorcycle helmet company has ever thought of incorporating into their helmets. This helmet includes rear view cameras, front view cameras, motion sensors, and many, many, many more features. This helmet is a helmet of the future. This helmet is not a helmet that anybody could afford to, but this helmet is going to be a helmet that's going to be great for you guys. Back up. Alright, a little bit more background on the Thunderdome now. I'm going to give you some more of the features. This helmet includes motion sensors. Motion sensors in the front and the back showing you when cars are getting near you so you can avoid accidents or tragedies from happening. This helmet also includes Bluetooth speakers that's connected through a phone. This Bluetooth speaker will allow you to send calls and receive calls without having to pull out your phone. Also includes rear view cameras, front view cameras, so you don't have to look at your side mirrors when cars are coming behind you. You can simply look up, rear view camera is posted right there, and you can see any car that is coming behind you. On top of that, there's motion sensors, which help these motorcyclists ride with no fear. So, instead of the future still being in the future is now coming in our faces. Not in our hands, but in our faces with this helmet. The Thunderdome AR. Thunderdome AR. Back up there. Alright. I'm going to talk a little bit about the sales and how we're going to keep our customers for a life. So, the Thunderdome AR includes certain softwares that develop as technology is developing over time. I'm not going to go very in depth into it because our presentation is going to go in depth, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. Just like the Apple iPhone. When you get to a certain software, the Apple iPhone makes you go get the next version of the iPhone in order to get that software. And we will be doing something quite similar with our helmet to keep our customers for that. So once you buy the helmet and the software updates, you will need to go get the next helmet. And this product will be a product of success. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the safety. As I mentioned before, front view, rear view cameras, so no motorcyclist will ever be in the near, I wouldn't say never, but almost never, around danger. Showing the motion sensors, keeping cars away from you, keeping everything away from you, and also, you will not put a pedestrian's life in danger. Because as the motion sensors are coming, you can notice when a person is there, when a person is not there. And there's certain levels, so there will be 3 bars. 1 bar is for animals, 2 bars is for humans, 3 bars is for vehicles. So you will know once an animal is coming, once a human is coming, and once a car is coming. And you will know what to do in those situations to avoid hurting someone and hurting yourself. Because when you're riding a motorcycle, your life is not in danger as much as a pedestrian who's just walking and you hit them and they hit you. Whose life is more in danger? Can you please answer that question for me? Any of the sharks. Whose life is more in danger? The motorcyclist or the pedestrian? Michael, can you answer that question first?
I would assume who's ever being hit by the motor vehicle.
The motor vehicle, correct. And with this helmet, you will not only save your life, but you will save the life of someone else. Alright. A little bit, and I'm going to pass it off to Elliot, who's going to go into very, very more depth about the production of our product.
Okay, thank you for working with us, but this is called the Thunder V1. This is our first product launch for a helmet. It will have a transparent OLED display that goes onto the visor so you can see different widgets performing in real time. We are first going to talk about the HUD, the OLED display, and then the software. Now for the heads-up display, as you can see here, this is sort of like a demonstration. This middle part is where you can edit, so drivers cannot just like put things like their weather, their GPS in their field of vision, but they're in proper positions where they can easily get information about their vehicle and their surroundings while on the road. So for the visor, the way it's going to be designed is that we're going to use a polycarbonate plastic, which is the most common plastic used in a lot of motorcycle helmets. It's very transparent and it's very light, and it will fit perfectly in between the OLED display. And we put an outer, the inner layer to keep people from trying to mess with it on the inside. So this is a quick mock-up of how sort of the wiring works. OLED displays are very easy to wire. This, at the red line, will indicate where the OLED display will currently end, where you will not currently get widgets. The black wire is just sort of designed to tell you where the wiring will go back into the helmet, which will then lead to a battery where you can then charge your visor again. We also have little notches for removal and applying in case you need to repair or replace your visor or clean it for any type of damages. So the OLED material. Why did I pick the OLED material? Well, OLED is really good for being transparent. It simply stands for organic diode. So when the diodes are turned off, they perform about over 80% transparency. This means you can easily see through your visor without having any complications. And also, it is very flexible, which means we can fit any type of visor design, no matter what the curvature is like of the visor. Now, for software, we need about a couple people to work on the software because we're focusing on connecting this to your iPhone using a Bluetooth app. So we need to make sure it works for not only Android, but the iOS current devices. So now I want to hand this off to my great marketing executive.
So Mark, as I mentioned before, the future is in our face today and right now. As Elliot has mentioned, we have motion sensors, GPS, Bluetooth speakers, rear view camera, front view camera, and a clock encrypted into our helmet. And as I mentioned before, this product will make USA riders or motorcyclists ride without no fear. Campaigns. So we will begin with the 1.0 software version. And as I mentioned before, as the Apple iPhone does, as the software gets higher and higher and higher as technology is developing, our helmet software will also increase, which will also help our customers because of that. Moving on to sales. Sales, our audience. Our specific target audience are the motorcyclists out there that ride motorcycles. And our potential audience are all these companies right here that sell helmets. We want these companies here to be invested and think about our product as the best product and have our helmet being sold at each one of those companies. And the success of the Thunderdome AR will lead to the creation of 3 new products. Helmets for law enforcement. This will not just be any normal helmet. Helmets for the law enforcement will be specifically designed to help the daily life activities that law enforcement is doing. Helmets for firefighters, same will be done for them, and helmets for skydivers, same will be done for helmets for skydivers. Customers for life. How will we make our customers for life? We're using the same trick Apple does. Everyone here probably has an Apple phone. As the software is increasing and technology increases, and we're going to 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, you'll have to get the new helmet in order to get 2.0. If you get 3.0, you'll have to get the new helmet for 3.0. And 1.0 is not just like 2.0. 1.0 will be evolving just as technology is evolving. So let's say 1.0 has features, default features that are just in black and white or any of that. 2.0 will have features in colors and etc. So advertising. We kind of want our advertising to look like this. We want to ask why our helmet is the best helmet to ever be made. And here you'd be like, I'll tell you why. The future is not the present, it's just prime. And this helmet is the safest helmet. And partner with Shoei, that is rated the #1 safest helmet in the whole entire USA. By having that here, we will help our advertisement in showing why our helmet is the best helmet. Next one. And moving on to safety, I'll pass it off to Luwam.
Alright, so we heard how the helmet can help you save someone else, but as it is a helmet for motorcyclists, it needs to protect the person riding the motorcycle. So, it will protect your head and your face, because as you're riding a bike, sometimes there'll just be that one rock that just hits you from the car in front of you, or any other animal. It will follow the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 218, also known as FMVSS 218, or the DOT Helmet Standard, Department of Transportation Standard. It will be SNELL certified. Now, U.S. law requires that motorcycle helmets be SNELL certified. However, some people have circumvented this by calling their helmets novelties. One of our competitors, Scully, went around like this for a while, which this way they can combine the product partially. How they do the tests is they go by impacts of 4 different points in the helmet, and they use different surfaces for this. So curved surfaces, flat surfaces, horseshoe surfaces. It goes through a process. Now the rear view camera functionality was mentioned. Most motorcycle riders, they already have a habit of looking at their left and right rear view mirrors. The camera functionality does allow them to just look forward and maybe up a little bit. The helmet will weigh, despite the technology involved, it will weigh only barely heavier than another helmet. So weight will not be an issue. Now because it has functionality with a phone, there will be signals. And because of this, there will be a copper mesh involved with the helmet to block off these radio frequencies. So you won't be developing cancer as you use this. It'll be easy to fit on for the appropriate head types, so you won't struggle to put it on. And it'll also be easy to remove whenever you want to remove it, and only when you want to remove it. It's not going to get hit off just because something hits you, and it's not going to get stuck in your head when, say, if you're in an accident and a paramedic needs to get it off. Moving on to the shield, or the visor. It has 3 layers, as mentioned earlier: the outer layer, the LED, and the inner layer. The outer layer has an anti-glare against lights. This means that in the daytime, that the sun is beating down on you, you're not being blinded by sunlight. It also means that at nighttime, as the incoming traffic is coming up on your left, you will not be blinded by the lights of other drivers. So your field of view is clear of light. It'll have fall resistance on the inner layer. Now, motorcyclists most often get into an accident because they cannot see. This is due to fogging. Fogging is due to temperature differences on the inside and outside of the helmet. So, because of this, the inner layer of the polycarbonate will have a coating to prevent fogging. Therefore, you will not be blinded as you're using this because it's cold outside and warm inside. Now, if somehow the outer layer is penetrated and damaged, the OLED inside will not obscure vision if that is also damaged. So, on the off chance that were to happen, your vision is still clear. It will be SNELL certified. Now, the way the shield is tested is usually it is pitted against an airsoft rifle that fires at specific velocity with a specific bullet type. Now, if certain damages are inflicted, it is not certified, but ours will meet those requirements and will fit the DOT standard. Moving on. On the finance.
Okay, even though this kind of product haven't been, is not in the market yet, but we're going to have a lot of competitors. One of them is going to be Jarfish Air. Jarfish Air is basically what we have, and then it's going to be our toughest competitor. But then, like, so on their product, they have some defects, which is, for example, their weight is 375 pounds, and then ours is going to be 1 pound bound by that, like it's going to be 2.75 pounds. And then their air lasts only 4 hours of battery life, but ours is going to be 24 hours, which is going to be, if you want to go to vacation, you can use it. And then also, their helmet doesn't have an AC vent. Ours does. I mean, if it's hot outside, you're gonna need some air, and then it's gonna be good for that. And then also, their air doesn't save a video when you get in an accident. Ours does, because that's the most important thing. If it has a camera, it has to be able to record a video and then see what happened in an accident. And also, and then now, from our starting point, we have made 325 helmets so far. And then with the smell on the market, we already have 250 units pre-ordered. That shows that how strong and perfect our product is. And then we're thinking about selling each unit for 2,000. And then from that 2,000, Shoei is gonna get 20% because we're partnering up with Shoei, and then they're making the helmet, and then we're doing the software. And also Amazon is gonna be doing the storage, advertisement, and also shipping, selling and shipping. So for that matter, they're gonna get 15% of our price. That's gonna leave us with 65% of our sales. And then, on top of our 65, using our 65% of profit, we're asking you, Sharks, we're asking you for 750,000 with 15% of the stake. And that's to improve our business and grow it and expand it. And then, and how are we going to expand it? So right now, all we do is just add the software and sell it. But moving on, we want to get our own building, which is a warehouse. And then also we want to buy some equipment that can help us produce produce that product. We're going to advertise our product as much as we can, so we can be the #1 helmet selling company. And also we want to employ some people, because all of us have been working on the 325, and it's been so exhausting. So we need some people to help us make that helmet, and also be a customer service. So if someone having a problem with our product, they can just call us and then reach us for that. And then also insurance, because if something happens to the helmet, we don't want to pay out of pocket, or we don't want our customer to pay out of pocket too. Yeah, and then the warehouse, we're thinking about, like, it's gonna be 3,500 square feet, which is gonna cost about 500,000. And then also the equipment is gonna cost us about 75,000. And then employees, like I said, we're gonna need 15 employers, which is gonna be, we're gonna need like up to 3 software developers, 5 customer representatives, and then also 10 people who can help us at the warehouse, moving and transporting. And then we're thinking about advertising our product on YouTube, Google, and social media. So to advertise our product in Google, it's going to cost us at least 9,000. And then on YouTube, it costs us about 5 to 6,000. And then on Facebook and Instagram, it costs us about like 1,000 to 2,000. So it's not going to be that much. And then the insurance. So if it's a software problem, we can cover it. But before, like when they buy the product, they have to pay 150 warranty, and it's going to be good for the next 3 years. But then if it's a hardware problem, we can't do anything because we're not making the helmet. So what we encourage them is to go get an insurance from Endurance. Because endurance is like the number one in also insurance at this moment. And then what we did is, so we talked to endurance and then we told them that if a customer buys a helmet from us, they can get a 30% off for their insurance up to 6 months. And then that includes our present person. Sharks, we're back to you.
I have one question on, I saw the numbers on the revenue generating and everything, but what is your profit? What's the cost to build this product? The cost of, the labor costs, how to build each helmet, how much does it cost for each?
For right now, it's not costing us anything because we're building it. But moving on, it's gonna cost us about 35,000 to 70,000 per person, which is we're gonna have 15 people. And then Shomi is gonna make the product, so it's gonna cost us like 500 per unit.
So just to give you, so your sale price is $2,000 for the helmet, correct?
Yeah.
So for you to figure out what your profitability is, and you might want to figure out how much does it cost for the materials, the software, and all that. What is it per unit cost?
So originally, we're not creating the helmets. Shoei's creating the helmets, but we are creating the software. So the average helmet at Shoei goes for about $700 to $800, and the software will cost us $300 to $400. So including that, 300 plus 800 would be 1,200.
Okay, so you got about $800.
Yeah.
All right,
Per
fine. Okay. Yeah.
My question is more towards the design itself for a helmet. So you spoke about the safety for it and the ability to see through the visor and all this information. I think it's a really cool idea when you think about not taking your eyes off the road, right? Being able to look to the corner of the screen and make sure you're looking fast, that's awesome, right? But what else does a helmet protect you from when you're riding a motorcycle?
Index.
What was that?
Index.
Index. From weather is what I'm more so focused on, right? So there's a lot of technology on my neck, and it rains a lot here in Seattle. So what's stopping this thing from electrocuting me halfway to my destination?
Well, the OLED screen will not be affected by water because it's essentially welded in by the polycarbonate. So it would essentially be airtight. You wouldn't have to worry about the OLED screen itself being affected, including the wiring, but again, it's all just sort of like welded in. It's airtight. Unless the visor itself is somehow cracked or somehow like pretty much destroyed, that wouldn't be an issue. And if it was destroyed, you would probably just get a visor ordinary.
So my question is, you mentioned that with each new, similar to the Apple iPhone, with each new update they have to buy a new helmet, do you think that's the visor that has the system update?
It's not the actual whole entire helmet, it's the visor that you're doing.
And also the visor, if you want, you can return it and then you can get some discount, which is like up to 50% discount.
So there's
you
a
only
reward
have to do
program
that.
for loyalty.
So you're not like spending $2,000 every time you want to upgrade your visor. And of course, the new visor would probably be a slight modification to the design. It's going to be a lot more sophisticated software. It's something that will not be updated, and then you have to go buy a new one next month. It's something that will probably take a while, much like how a new data always happens.
Follow-up question to that one is, so the design showed, and on your PowerPoint, it showed that there's going to be visuals and widgets and all that jazz in the front of the visor. I know part of this is to protect us from safety on the road. Is that distracting at all?
The widgets?
Do you think that it would be distracting to have all this information in front of your, like the rear view back cameras and the widgets and all that stuff? How is it designed so it's not distracting, but I can still get that information?
Well, on the visor, there's a big space that you cannot change. That is unmodifiable.
Okay.
That's just so you cannot put, like, say, widgets blocking your peripheral vision. These widgets are small and they can be customized, like color and stuff, and be designed so that essentially they're off in the corner of your eye. So in case you want to quickly say, like, is there somebody rear viewing me? just move your eye to the very bottom right real quickly, you can see that. If you need to figure out where you're going, you look down. You're still looking on the road, technically. So information is given to you very, very quickly. It would not be like a concern unless somebody is deliberately just staring off in the distance. So at that point, probably not.
I got two quick questions. So your competitor Jarvis, what did they sell their helmet for? Do you know?
Yeah, it's not for 1,000.
And in the follow-up to the rewards program, you guys mentioned that is it the helmet itself, so you get 50% off? You guys mentioned a percentage discount if you exchange from a new version. Is that correct?
Exchange from new version, no, that's not.
Did I hear it correctly? It was 50%?
50-70%
Discount.
Or the exchange, yeah.
Yeah, the exchange.
So if you buy.
So I bought at 2,000 today. The next helmet will be, let's say, 2,000, right? The next, if I decide to exchange, so I get 1,000 off. The
$1,000.
next one,
But you
right?
have to keep in mind that you paid $2,000 for that helmet, so it's not just a helmet, it's
Yeah.
$2,000. So
I'm
when you exchange
following
it,
the numbers.
we
I
have
want to see if you guys are
$2,000.
following the
And
numbers.
you have, and you still buying helmet for 50% off, which will be 1,000. So now we initially have to be out.
Okay, well, your cost basis was 1,200. So you're now in a hole.
In a hole.
So, okay, I bought you 2,000, you made $800 profit off of me. A year later, I buy another one, but you're gonna give me 1,000 back. We're doing that off the next purchase, correct?
It's 7 days.
Oh, whatever it is, whatever the timeline is, right? You're now selling it to me, the next one for 1,000, but it costs you guys 1,200 to build the next. I want to understand your profitability of what you guys thinking down the road. So I think you should rethink the reward program, what I'm trying to say, to make sure that you guys are profitable versus giving away. Because I think you'll start seeing that your revenue is going to be start doing this if you're just a startup company.
Follow up with that, great point. You talked about, currently you have 1.0, correct? Tentatively, you're looking to expand it 2.0 and 3.0. When you're marketing, who is the head of marketing here? What you did was you let me know the flaws with 1.0, and then you're asking me for money to give to you for 1.0 with the idea that I could possibly upgrade to 2.0 or 3.0 in the future. I'm not going to purchase the item that you're not confident in, and that's what you showed me when you marketed 2 platforms that you don't have yet to help upgrade a feature that's not currently developed.
Well, the 2 platforms that I don't have yet, no one else has access to it because this is technology of the future. As technology is advancing and the newest thing is coming out, right away when the newest thing comes out, we have it. So 1.0 as of right now is the newest thing and we have it. And as the newest thing is coming out, we have it right away. That would be 2.0.
Agreed, but let's just dive back into marketing, right? When the iPhone 10 comes out, do they say get ready for the 11?
Yeah.
No, they don't. That's my point. No, when the iPhone 10 comes out, they say this is the iPhone 10. This is better than 98765. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right. So you like discredited the 1.0 right off the bat. So why would I invest? That's my question to you.
Why would you invest?
Correct.
Because 1.0, even though I did discredit it, the 1.0 is up to the latest technology. 1.0, there's not nowhere else you're gonna find the 1.0 software version that we have right now. But the 2.0 in the near future is the 2.0 as technology is advancing. But the 1.0 right now is better than any other 1.0 helmet version. They are you'll find the technology is up to the latest point.
If I were to invest in your 1.0, I saw that you showed some pictures as far as what kind of 2.0 helmet you'll be selling. So law enforcement, firefighter, and skydiving. What is the functionality for those helmets? Because you're not going to want to listen to these or Bluetooth.
So everyone, they'll all start with the 1.0. They can just jump into the 2.0. So law enforcement, firefighter, they'll all start with the 1.0. So for like, let's say police and they won't have Bluetooth speakers like that, but they will have motion sensors, and they will notice that people can hear them, the car will come hear them, and everything. And they will have functionality as like GPS. They wouldn't have Bluetooth speakers. Things that are not necessary to their daily activities will not be included into the Bluetooth. things encrypted into the widgets will be things that are used in their daily activities. So if they don't need Bluetooth speakers will not be added into it.
Do you know what they'll need?
But they'll need motion sensors, they'll need GPS, they'll need weather detection and clock time.
Is this voice command how to get this information? Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty loaded. If you get on my, if I plug in my GPS and then I'm halfway through and I need to go to a different destination than I'm going, is there a voice command, or do I have to pull over to reprogram the device?
So the way the device is usually working is, because it's linked to your iPhone, you want to make it for safety, so you can't be like driving and editing the software. It's not, it will detect that because of movement from the GPS.
Got it.
And now you can change that. We built that as a safety feature because we didn't want people to be on their phones while driving or helmets. So once you're stationary, you then can edit any widget you need or location on your phone.
I have a question for safety.
Yes.
Can you just remind me once again of the different testing that this helmet was going through?
So the testing goes through different environments and different impacts on different surfaces such as flat, curved, horseshoe, edged. Other testing includes environments such as fire. So if the helmet stays on fire for a certain amount of time, then it has failed. Others include, like the shield would be for, they use bullets, whether airsoft or live bullets. They will fire at the shield and they will test damage. It should not go past 2.5 millimeters. If it goes past that, then the shield has failed.
Are you ready to make an offer?
Yeah.
All right. Kevin, want to kick us off?
Sure. I have some concerns on the projection of revenue. I'm trying to see how I'm going to get my investment back. The cost seems, I feel pretty reasonable for the safety that you're providing, but I just need a little bit more clarification on how you're going to profit as a company, because that's why that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here. And your reward seems very generous, too generous in my opinion, to give kickbacks this early into the company. So I am going to not make an offer.
Detail matters for me, right? So I hear you with the 1.0, the 2.0, the 3.0. You mentioned that this device is connected or synced with your cellular device, right? If you could give me information on what technology you're using, that would make a lot more sense for me. And an example of that would be, right, so if I had an Android and I wanted to link it to this helmet, I'm going to have Lollipop, which is the most up-to-date version of software for all Androids, right? If you would have mentioned that buy-in, I can say, okay, cool, 1.0 makes sense, but I don't know what 1.0 is. You're just telling me a number and a decimal at that point, and I don't know what I'm buying into and how effective that software is. I've used Lollipop in the iOS software and the iPhone. I use it every day, right? I can have some kind of foundation to build an understanding of the product on. Also, with your finances, you constructed a rewards program for essentially just a visor without one sale being made, and that's just jumping the gun in my opinion. Doesn't seem that well thought out, so
This makes my job very easy. So, I think this product has a lot of potential, but I have a lot of questions as well. I'm willing to offer you the $750,000, okay, that you are asking for 20% of your company and to be the head of finance and safety. That is my offer.
Finance and safety?
More is more.
I also see the potential, and I'm gonna offer you $800,000 for 25%.
I'm willing to go up to $1 million.
If you're willing to go up to $1 million, you will not be head of safety and finance, but you will be in partnership with
I don't share.
So you changed your offer to $1 million? of finance and safety.
We can let you be head of finance and safety department.
That is my offer. Please confer amongst yourselves.
Thank you very much, Charles.
Yeah, okay.
We've discussed it with the team, and we seem to be pretty confident in the $1 million offer.
Thank you. Wise choice.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, nice job.
Especially for that.
Go on.